Jai Shri Krishna to all. Thank you very much for joining. Welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series. Freedom from pains and miseries to happy, healthy and peaceful life. Based on 108 mantras to awaken your soul. And my question and God's answers, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And today's our series number 78. Learn to pre-plan your future life, your next life. So pranam to Hariharji Maharaj for his blessings, guidance, and sharing this message. I'm Satya Kalra, your host and founder of Path to Anandam. And with Guruji's blessings, this broadcast on Zoom and also the books you see here are all under his guidance. And is spreading the Gita's message to different places, online, in person, in conferences, in webinars, etc. And the teachings are mainly based on a spirituality and science, combining both of them. Being a medical scientist, I can't get out of this science and spirituality together. So the today's series is based on Gita's verse chapter 13 and mainly verses 21 and 22. But prior to that, 19 and 20s for the backgrounds are also taken. So how to plan or pre-plan our life, our future life? What are the causes of my existence? Where do karmas come from? How to overcome cause and effect of karmas? And why? What are the benefits do we get? And practices and homework. So my sankalpa, I am beyond body, I am Atma. With meditation and question and answers. So as we always start our session with prayers, seeking guidance from Supreme Power, very humbly and surrendering, just like Arjun, where Arjun lost his heroism. But he asked for advice from Lord Krishna because he was in very confused state, very dejected state. And he couldn't think straight. He couldn't make any decision. But fortunately, he had a friend, which happened to be Supreme Power, Lord Krishna, Bhagwan Krishna Ji, who guided him with his prayers. So let's all pray together so we can seek for the guidance as well. Because with that guidance, where he was so confused, and he said, Na jotasya iti govindam, I'm not going to perform my duty. But then he seek for advice. So just we get confused, we feel dejected, and we are the Arjuna of today. So let's all pray together. Karpanye dosho pahat svabhava prashyami tvam dharma sammoya cheta यच्छसैस्यानि निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वं प्रपन्नम् शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वं प्रपन्नम्. My heart is overpowered by the weakness of pity. I have lost all my composure and my mind is confused about my duty, my dharma, what to do and what not to do. So I'm requesting you to tell me what is definitely good for me, not that I'm asking for it, what is definitely good for me. Because I'm your disciple. So I surrender to you. So please instruct me, advise me. And after listening to Arjuna's prayer, Lord Krishna poured the infinite wisdom on him, the timeless wisdom in the form of Bhagavad Gita. And after listening to that, Arjuna got transformed. He went through that blissful journey of self-purification and transformation. And he uplifted himself. He lifted his consciousness. And he said, Karishye vachanam tav. I do as you advise. So Lord Krishna, his divine company, took him step by step on the journey where he got out of sorrows. He felt the supreme bliss. And in this session, especially knowing the Creator and the creation, Lord Krishna guided him, who he is and who is the Creator and what is the creation. So that step by step spiritual instruction manual, he gave him the true knowledge of body, individual soul, and supreme soul. In other words, Jeev, Atma, and Paramatma. And taught him how to attain eternal happiness, peace, anandam, not at the time of death, but while living in this material world, Maya, Prakriti, and the purpose of life, God and self-realization. Who am I? I'm Satchitananda, but how to experience it? So this is all based on Swami Hariharji Maharaj's quotations, where I put them together. So as Gita is the journey from sorrow to supreme bliss, through love and compassion with wisdom, Lord Krishna took Arjuna step by step, and he spoke 574 verses out of 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita, which have been actually divided in, which have 18 chapters of yoga, but mainly they have been further presented as 3 yogas. Karma Yoga from chapter 1 to 6, Bhakti Yoga, chapter 7 to 12, and then Jnana Yoga, 13 to 18, where we are right now. So previously in 2 chapters, in 2 sessions, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, how to perform the action as a seva, selfless action with love and compassion for all. And now in the Jnana Yoga, which is the true knowledge. And the name of this chapter is Kshatriya Kshatragya Yoga. where now Bhagwan Krishna taking one layer of ignorance, one by one, just like onion, and taking Arjuna to the essence of life. So in this Kshatragya Gyan Yoga, which is the path of knowing the Creator and His creation, knowing the difference between body, soul, and Supreme Soul, Jiva, Jivatma, and Paramatma. Through true knowledge, wisdom, which is also called as Brahma Vidya, knowledge of self, knowledge of God, knowledge of oneness, union. And it is also known as integral knowledge, transcendental knowledge, metaphysical knowledge, where one learns about body, just a jiva, but when it is combined with soul, it becomes a jiva atma, individual being, like with that current which is flowing in my body, that atma makes me a person. But when the atma gets out of it, then I become the dead body. So that's what happened when someone dies, means the atma has left the body. But how to experience it? How to actually, seems like an abstract. So how to truly experience this? And in this chapter, which we talked about before, need to develop the qualities of supreme power, Atma, which is called divine qualities. And once we develop it, we develop that wisdom, we experience the oneness. So here we see a universe. Here we see a person with the mind. Here we see that current, the Om current, which we are talking about, the supreme power. And this is the Prakriti. So these are the three parts. So supreme power is the known, which we need to know, Paramatma, God. And Jiv Atma, which is, we call it as knower. We want to become the knower of that. All this relationship of supreme power, how the mind and body and senses work around that, and how this Prakriti relates to both of them. And that's the wisdom we are talking about. So this is basically a tripod. They call it triputi, Gyan triputi. Knowing the object which needs to be known, which is God. And then knower, we want to know about it through that wisdom, which is called the true knowledge. So in other words, Jiva, Jiva Atma, and this is the Jagdish, the supreme power. So union with God through the path of knowing body, soul, and supreme. And as I said, this is the 13th chapter. So we are in the 13th grade now, undergraduate, learning about this. I put these slides again. This is so important. What is true knowledge? The true knowledge, the Brahm Vidya, is the knowledge of God, knowledge of Supreme, knowledge of it is called self. And knowing the difference between them, body, soul, and supreme powers, Because until I read the Bhagavad Gita, I did not understand this particular terminology. What is Jeev? What is Jivatma? What is Paramatma? We always can relate to God, but what is the relationship between them? So again, Jiva plus soul is Jivatma, individual being, which are many. We all are individuals. And then Paramatma. Paramatma is one, but we are many. These individual souls are many. So we all need to know that one, where we came from. In last session, we learned that is actually the final slide of the qualities of supreme power, because supreme is eternal, supreme is permanent. But here, the last slide was supreme is the source of light, wisdom, beyond ignorance, where it says God is light. In him there is no darkness, there is no ignorance. And we can relate the light with the sun, with the Jyoti. But this is the Jyoti we talked about. Jyotishamai Api. The Supreme is also the source of light. Tajya Jyotistam Saha Parma Uchyate. He is said to be beyond the darkness of ignorance. He is the self-knowledge. Jnanam, Yagyam, Jnanam, Jnangavyam, Hriday Sarvasya Vishishte. Means this supreme power is seated in the inner psychic of all being, in the heart, Hriday. Hriday means the inner being. It's situated in every human being, in every living being. So consciousness within is God, and God is light. We spoke about that in last session. And today, there is some new subject comes. We learned about what is the body made with the 24 tattvas, these 5 tattvas, 5 bhutas, sense organs, etc. So 24 total elements. Then we learn about the supreme powers, qualities, which we will summarize it again here. And then we also learn the mother nature, part of the mother nature. So we learned about the body, we learned about the God, and we learned about the wisdom, the qualities of the God. But now, here Lord Krishna is emphasizing more on the Prakriti, which is, we call it Maya, Mother Nature, many different names. But basically, this is on the Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha means God here. Here Purusha means God. This is also, here it says Prakriti Purusham Chae Vidyana Viti Upav Api. So understand that both matter, nature, Prakriti, and soul are beginningless. Also understand that all modifications, Gunas, all the modification with it, Prakriti Sambhavan, are 3 modes of Gunas. So now the new terminology is coming here, Gunas, modes of Gunas, which is called attributes, qualities. And this is Vidyati Prakriti Sambhavan, means are born of material nature alone. So let me read this again. Understand that both Prakriti and Purusha, soul, supreme soul, are beginningless. Also understand that all modification and 3 modifications, the 3 gunas, are born out of material mother nature. So this basically tells us how this Prakriti is made. In other words, how this body is made. But we need to learn that what is first the difference between Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha means God, witness, Sakshi, we spoke about previously, but again, here now we are talking about the Prakriti Maya. What is Prakriti? Prakriti, anything. Whatever we see the manifestation of Supreme Power's energy, which is called matter. This is Prakriti. So whatever we can see with our eyes, that is all Maya, all Prakriti. Where God is a higher self, pure consciousness, pure supreme energy, but it's not unmanifested. For example, we call it as in the form of Om mantra. The energy which comes from Om, we experience it, we feel it, but we cannot, we can feel it, but we cannot touch it. That's called unmanifestation, where we can feel, I can feel my body, I can feel my phone, I can feel all these, whatever the things you see in this world, that is called the part of Prakriti, out of Maya. But Maya, anything and everything what we see with our eyes is temporary, changeable, perishable. It is not permanent. For example, this phone changes. My body changes. Daino asmin yatha dehe komaram yognam zara. So this body goes from childhood to young age and then finally dies. So it's a changeable. But the Atma, the supreme power, is inchangeable. It's permanent. It's eternal, which is called Nenam Chidanti Shastrani, Nenam Dehiti Pavaka, Na Chainam Kaldentampo, Na Shochati Maruta. Atma is fireproof, soundproof, airproof, windproof. So it's not affected by the tornadoes and all that, where the things in the materialistic world, in Prakriti, they are affected with tornadoes. They get destroyed. Atma does not get destroyed. That's why it is called, it's a real. Nasato vidate bhavo, na bhavo vidate sata. Means it is sat. Sat cannot be destroyed, but asat is never lasting. And it's also ignorant. It's a darkness. It's a sometimes we are up and down. Sometimes we can think properly. Sometimes we cannot think properly. It's all get shadow. But wisdom is experienced. Once you experience the presence of Supreme, you will always have that experience. You will never forget that. On other ones, many times we speak about, we see things, we do, and we forget about it. It doesn't sit in the memory. It's just even the, what you call that, our computer disk of the mind gets overloaded and we start forgetting things. Where this is totally pure, it never gets loaded. It's a stability of mind, sthit prajna. Always the calmness, the mind is always, here the mind is agitated. Here is the union with harmony. So it is called union with supreme power. You always, this is another way of saying embodiment of bliss, Sat Chit Ananda, where we experience love, peace, Ananda. But in Maya, in Prakriti, in this world, it's a separation, it's a disagreements. There is no union. You think about it, how many disagreements, how many wars are happening in this world, how many family feuds, relationship problems, all these disagreements. What are they causing? They're causing sufferings. And actually this suffering and misery are due to what? Those 5 + 2 enemies. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. This is all related to this Maya. You can see here the agitated person. all these diseases, insomnia, because of the anger, greed, ego, I-ness, minus, me, and then immune system goes down, that is stress is overtaken, and then insomnia and all these immune deficiency diseases, all these miseries come here. This is a part of Prakriti. However, Purusha, God, and Prakriti. The Prakriti is God's potency. It is created by God. Cannot be separated. We cannot separate that God is separate and Prakriti is separated. They are integrated. They are intermingled. Both are one. Like, though I am manifested, my body is manifested into a human body, but without that soul, Atma, I do not exist. So in this body, which is perishable, which is a part of Prakriti, with Atma, it becomes a Jiva Atma. So they both are necessary for a person, for a human being to exist. So everything in the universe is combination of both. Matter, which is whatever you see, and the energy. So this is called true knowledge. Once we understand that God is eternal, permanent, and these are the qualifications, and these are the characteristics, and this is a result of it, and this is where the Prakriti and Maya is. Now, since they both are together, though it says suffering, it's the embodiment of suffering, like Arjuna, he was suffering, he got dejected, but what happened? He went beyond it because he had a wonderful company, Paramatma, with us. So similarly, if we focus that we are a part of the Supreme, Supreme is always with us, then we are here. We are not there. We are not suffering. We are in Satchit Ananda. So now, as further explains, the causes of the body manifestation. What are those causes? These causes are karya, karana, kartavyate, hetu, prakriti, ruchate. Purusha, sukh dukkhanam, bhoktatve, hetu ruchate. Prakriti, mother nature, is said to be the cause of production of the physical body. And the senses, this kar and karnam, they both have physical body and the senses, both are there. And due to our affiliation with the body, we forget that we are a part of the pure Atma. We think we are the body, everything. We get stressed out because we think I am the doer, because this is the body has to do this, and everything comes that I am the one who is doing everything. So when this doership comes, then this attachment, greed, ego, and those karmas, cause and effect. So whatever action we do, it has a cause and effect. Sometimes we do a good action, sometimes we do a bad action. Both have punya and pap. Here says, while supreme consciousness is the individual soul is said to be the cause of experiencing pleasure and pain. Very interesting. Here it says material nature, Prakriti, Maya, Guna, is the cause of the existing of the human body. So this cause and effect, our karmas, it says we are the byproduct of our karmas. cause and effect. But since this Atma, with this Atma, this body becomes Jiv Atma, then even the Atma mingles with this mind and body and all that. And mind takes over. We don't think that we are the Atma. And even the Atma gets kind of overtaken with this mind and combine and start this Jiv Atma. Now start experiencing this pleasure and pain. So sometimes we are happy and sometimes we are unhappy because whatever action we do, we experience the effect of it. This is a very interesting slide. How the body comes into existence, which we just saw in the previous slide. But then here comes the cause of next life or rebirth. And here it says, Purusha Prakriti Sthito hi. While seated in the body, the soul enjoys the association, experience, and attachment to the gunas. So, Prakriti Jan Gunam, this soul and body get intermingle and start experiencing the effect of gunas. What are gunas? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Tamsik, Raisik, Sattvic. We are the byproduct of this Triguni Maya. The Maya is also called Triguni Maya. This Triguni Maya is called because these are the gunas, goodness, passion, and ignorance. We are made with that. Anything and everything in the universe is made with these three gunas, which is good, bad, and in between, which is called goodness. In between is passion, and bad is bad. So due to that, it says, and this becomes the cause of his birth in good and evil wombs. In other words, based on the karmas, one goes to the next life. Here, let me explain you in a very simple way. Here is the Atma, which is totally pure, Satchit Anand. Now, when this Atma comes in the body, and body has the, which is Jiva, but body has the gunas. Body is the byproduct of gunas. Body has these three characteristics, three attributes, three natures, gunas, Tamsik, Raisik, Sattvic, which give the birth to desires in the mind. And when the desires come, unduly desires, want, it causes the disasters. So whole thing goes from desires to disasters. So when we have the desires, then what do? We do some action, which is karmas. When we do the karmas, we get attached. I am the one who is doer. So I-ness comes. It is mine. I am the successful. So minus comes. Mera, main. And then when this happens, all these 5+2 enemies, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, all these come, especially the attachment. Here, that verse is repeated over and over. Dhyayato Vishyan Punsa, Sangasteshu Upjayate. Sanga Sanjayate Kama, Krodha Vijayate. Krodha Bhavati Sammoha, Smriti Vibhrama, Smriti Branchad Buddhi Nasha Pranshati. What happens? We are so attached, so much attachment. We are thinking about that. And then experiencing pleasure and pains, which is a cause and effect of our birth and death. So here is based on our karmas. See, cause of next life rebirth, attachment to gunas, cause and effect. Everything is cause and effect. Whatever action we do, how we do, this is where we lead the life. For example, the karmas could be, they call it a immediate karmas, which we spoke before. There are some sanchit karmas, which comes from the previous lives or from early ages, and the current karmas, which I'm just speaking of right now. And it's just like a fruit, you get some of the plants give you the fruit, like strawberries give you the fruit right there. But if you do the mango tree, it will take time. So karmas are just like that. They get ripe over a period of time, but they do give the results. So now, here you can see these gunas are the one which give the birth to desires and karma. So sometimes when we say this is a karmas, karma ka phal, cause and effect, karmas. But where do the karmas come from? Karmas come from the desires. Where do the desires come from? They come from gunas. And all this, then I-ness, my-ness, my positions, my properties, my children, all this ego and shosha, all this comes. And then if the desires get fulfilled, we experience pleasure. If they don't get fulfilled, we feel pains and miseries. So here, based on our karmas, here I put the base, here is the gunas, here is the mind. And mind keeps going here and here. This is the ignorance, this is the passion, this is a sattvic. So you can see it keeps, it's like a yo-yo. It keeps going here and there. It's not stable because it just keeps going from one desire to another desire. But based on that, whatever karmas we do, here one can get into, if this is somebody can challenge on this one, even here, but our Shastras, our Vedas says that human body can go into lower self or the higher self. Higher self here's the higher self is when you go to the higher, from human to the next level, higher conscious level, which is called angels, Devi Devtas, One can raise to that level and ultimately merge to Paramatma. But at the same time, if we don't do a proper karmas, we could be in any of that animal yoni, animal life. Here you can see it here also, it shows here also. It could be a horse, it could be a donkey, it could be a bird, it could be anything and everything. This is the most important part of it, that if our karmas are a low quality, then we could go below the human life. In the next life, we could be animals, we could be plants. Or at the same time, if we do good karmas, we could raise our conscious level all the way to experience the Satchit Ananda. So, benefit of knowing the relationship of Purusha, Prakriti, and Gunas. So we learned about the Purusha, we learned about the Prakriti, and we learned about the Gunas. Now, how do they affect us? And if we know that, what are the benefits we are going to get? So here it says, Ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunesaha. One who thoroughly understands, realize knowledge, wisdom. Understand, it's not that I'm talking and I'm understanding, unless I really experience that calmness, that sthit prajna, the qualities of God, the qualities of Purusha, and understand that this is the Prakriti is all temporary, and I am the slave of Gunas. So once we know the interrelationship of this Purusha, supreme power, supreme soul, and the individual soul, like material nature, Prakriti, body, with the interaction of the three Gunas, will never be again, will never be born again. They will be liberated regardless of their present conditions, work, and lifestyle. So there is a hope. It's not that we have lost some time. Here it says, Sarvata Vartmano Api, Nasa Bhuvo Bijayate. Means whatever we are at the present time, we can start right now. Sometimes we feel like, oh my God, I have done so many wrong things and there is no hope for me. But here, Lord Krishna promises us, and he says, don't worry about it. Once you make a decision, change the direction of your life, you could be liberated. It doesn't matter under what conditions we live, what kind of job we do, as long as we do it with the seva bhav, selfless service, with love and compassion, and see God in all, that oneness. So we do that kindness. We basically work as a kind person. So then we can get the freedom from rebirth. So you can see it here. Here it shows, here surrender, here is on. So the choice is ours. Nobody is going to dictate us. We have to make this choice. So how to practice it? So the practice, the process of knowing self. Here it says the witness is a direct observer. So here Krishna Bhagavan says, I am the inner witness. Here, this is the word, this is one of the words, it says, God has many names. So, Supreme Soul, while dwelling in the body, is also called the witness, the guide, the supporter, the cooperator, this great Lord, and also the Supreme Self. So in other words, God has many names, but here, how we can practice as a self-witness, as a sakshi. So basically, observe ourselves, our actions. How am I doing? Which is usually that comes to our homework, but basically, this is what the mental, what am I thinking? What am I doing? So start observing ourselves. So basically, witness is a direct observer. So when we become the witness also, when we observe, so here Lord Krishna says, I am the inner witness, pure awareness, consciousness. Supreme Soul, while dwelling in the body, is called the witness. So through constant practices as observer, distances himself from the constantly changing panorama of body, breath, and mind. He rests in his own nature, Satchit Ananda. So basically here you can see the one is observing all the time here through meditation, through uplifting. And here is I am the Atma, and this is the Prakriti. And once we realize that, we become the witness, then we can start, again, it comes a practice session here, that practice the wisdom and know the known, plan for blissful life, or pre-planning for future lives. This is where it, so become the Sakshi and practice, because Vasudev Sarvamiti. So start our day, whatever day we start, or how we start, it sets the mood of rest of the day. So it's good to have some mantras, read some scriptures, and take care of the body and mind and soul by meditation, yoga, pranayam. And during the day, focus is that I want to go from Jiva Atma to Paramatma to Param Dham. So this is again contemplation and summary that Jeev Atma and soul becomes the Jivatma, individual being, and to know the difference between Paramatma and Jivatma means we are the small fragment. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. So we are the small segment. And how do we know? We have to practice through the means of developing the divine qualities, not the stressful, not the 5+2 enemies, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, not, no, through the calmness, through Sthit Prajna, through Sakshi Bhav. This is how we self-purify, transform ourselves, and realize that God is everywhere, and I am the part of that supreme power, Sat Chit Ananda. And by doing that, we can go beyond birth and death. So practice, practice, and in the evening, evaluate how am I doing. And again, this is a 30 days planner. Although it becomes a 30 days planner for one subject or couple of subjects, but basically it's a lifelong planner. That's what I call it. And do our best. And in the evening, again, Sarva Dharman Paritajya, Mamekam Sharanam Vraj, Aham Tvam Sarpapebhyo, Mokshashyami Ma Shuchi. So do your best and just let go and surrender, surrender, surrender. So time for homework, which we just talked about, is live in awareness and ask yourself, myself, basically self-inquiry, Swadhyaya Abhyasam. So do I have a plan for the supreme goal of life? Am I on the path of divinity, which is the ultimately the light? Do I live in awareness? Do I live in the Sakshi Bhav? Do I live in a mindfulness of supreme power, 100%? Do I feel and see God everywhere? Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. So continuously asking those questions, practice the witness and oneness, and become the virtuous and become the knower, Kshetrajna. So our sankalpa is, I know the cause of my birth and rebirth. That's the sankalpa. We want to continue to learn more about it. And eventually it is Jeev Atma to Paramatma. And again, just a reminder, Lord Krishna says, don't worry about it. Only 1 in 1,000 know the purpose of one's life. It's not a quick fix. So have a patience, but must have a sankalpa. Sankalpa of what? This is very important. Sankalpa prabhavan kamasya tattva. Means worldly sankalpas are goals, but this is the sankalpa for attaining the supreme. And once we take this sankalpa, then little by little, shanai shanai uppar med, buddhya buddhi grahita, atma samstam manakratmana kinchita pichintayat. Once you take that sankalpa, then don't think about anything else. You live in the consciousness of that sankalpa, and every cell of the body should be speaking about that sankalpa. So little by little by little by little, our mind, our buddhi changes, and then we reach to the supreme consciousness. So here, the seed of learning from Bhagavad Gita, little by little by little, it will bear the fruits, and we will reach our goal. So thank you very much. How to plan for future life. Liberation, ultimately. So God and we, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscience. So thank you very much for attending the session, Freedom from Pains and Miseries to Happy, Healthy, and peaceful life.